Okay, so let me do the math.
Yeah.
Let me see. $5,000 a day, 365, puts me somewhere around, I'm going to guesstimate around $600,000, $700,000 a year. How many of you would like to make $600,000 or $700,000 a year? You know, so, you know, hey, I take my hat off to him. He said he prospect. I told you I took him away from prospecting, right? He did 6 or 7 hours. He only got 4 in a day. So, you know, so I owe him something. Ramon, let's talk about your skill set, your mindset. How much time do you spend every day working on your skill set, working on your scripts, working on all your stuff?
It takes me 1 hour every morning before I start my actual prospecting. So I have to get to the office early when it's nice and quiet. No one's there. As a matter of fact, they barely, the owner of the company told me, hey, how can I help you this year sell 100 homes? Because that's my goal. I haven't broken 100 homes. So my goal is I want to break 100. You know, that's my number. And so he said, what do I need to do to help you out? And I said, well, you can't limit me because I can't come into the office till 7. So, you know, they have a fog, you know, where you have your keys to get into the building. And being that it's a big, huge building, they won't let you in till after 7. I told them, well, can you let me in at 6? You know, so I can get in early and start my prospecting earlier. So
wow.
Now I'm getting to the office at 6:45.
Nice.
So it takes me 1 hour of working on my, you know, my mindset. I always say, you know, you got to feed your mind, but you also got to feed your heart. So I do my devotion in the morning, then I do my business book planning and any YouTube videos or anything. And then I go ahead and get started with my prospecting. So I do that every day.
So you spend an hour every morning.
Yeah.
Before you prospect. Do you have role playing partners, or you just kind of? No, you just kind of.
Nobody can keep up.
Nobody can keep up. Do I have any volunteers that wants to work with Ramon to try and keep up?
They don't show up, man. They don't show up. You know, people will get committed for a week, and that's what you give them. They're done after that.
Let me see. Let me see. Spectator, interested, committed. Right?
Committed.
Spectator, interested, committed.
Yeah.
Obviously, this man is committed.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about the number one thing, prospecting.
Yeah.
How many hours a day? Last year, how many hours a day last year?
Last year, I did around 542 hours.
How does he know that?
The whole year.
He tracks analytics. He tracks everything he does. Right? What time do you start prospecting?
As a matter of fact, I brought my...
Here it is. There's a spreadsheet.
So I have a little spreadsheet I carry with me. And so I always, you know, like when they have the staff meeting, you know, because I'm the only guy that doesn't go to the staff meeting.
Uh-oh.
And so I'm not encouraging you guys to do that. You know what I'm saying? Any brokers, they'll get mad, right? So my broker tells me, hey, you got to come to the staff meeting. I said, well, let me see. Every hour I prospect $703. I tell you what, you cut me a check for $703 and I'll go to the staff meeting. And then he's like, man, you're smoking. I'm like, well, that's what it is. I mean, you know, but the numbers don't lie. You know, but if you guys ever want, like, to track your numbers, I'll give you guys this for free. Just email me. I got business cards. I'll give it to you guys. And, you know, I'll give it to you guys. You know, but it took me years. I've been doing this 23 years. It took me years to figure this thing out. But you punch in your numbers here, and it'll tell you exactly what you're worth an hour, what you're worth per contact. I make $136 a contact. So if they're mean and they're jerks and whatever, they cuss me out, you know, and they told me, go get a life and you loser and blah, 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 because, you know, we're going to get that, right? Yeah, we get that. People are mean sometimes, right? And I understand that. So I was like, you know, when I hang up, I'm like, hey, thank you for the 136. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. I just made 136. I don't care what you say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so,
really.
So good.
Love it. I love it. Analytics, tracking. So you start prospecting at what time?
I start at 8.
Okay.
And I'll go from 8 to 12. Like this morning, I did 4 hours.
Okay.
And then I'll grab lunch, and I'll meet with my team to find out what's going on with the deals, any problems, any issues I need to be putting out some fires, administration. And then I'll get back on the phone, prospect another 2 hours, 3 hours. I'm very picky with my appointments. Because if I don't pre-qualify them real good, I find myself wasting a lot of time. And so I had to do a lot of pre-qual. I mean, I try to disqualify the appointment, really, you know, because my time is very, very important.
$703 an hour. How much did you
Yeah.
charge me for this?
Nothing.
I got him for 2 hours, so that's that's $1,406. Man,
Thank you.
I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to pay for this now. Oh boy. Yeah. Yes, good question. That was the next question. He led me right into it. Let's
yeah.
talk about your team.
Okay, so it's my wife. I've been married going on 23 years. I have to think about that one. So my wife, and then I have a buyer's agent, and then my son. He's in college full-time, but he works part-time for me. He's 21. So that's pretty much it. I'm sorry?
What are their functions?
So my wife is pretty much the manager. She handles all the files. She makes sure that we have right now 14 pendings. So there's a lot going on with that, and she's making sure that everything gets done. Excuse me, everything gets done. My buyer's agent, any buyer that I get, I just send them over to her, and she handles all the buyers. I train her how to put them in a buyer contract. Any buyer that works with us or our team, they have to go on a buyer contract. So I train her how to do my buyer presentation, and she closes them, puts them in the buyer contract, then goes out there and
Let
works
me
with
comment on that. Did you hear what he said?
Yeah.
I put them under a buyer's contract.
Right.
I'm not working with anybody
No.
who won't sign a buyer's exclusive agreement. I'm not wasting my time. Too many of us waste our time putting people in cars, driving them around, sending them to properties. They haven't been qualified. You don't have anything to hook. And as soon as they find a property they like with another agent, you're gone. Now, when you have your buyer's exclusive agreement, how long do they sign it for?
We used to do it 6 months.
Okay.
But we realized we don't really need 6 months because I don't even know if we want to work with them that long now. You know, it takes a long time. Sometimes they're just, you know, I mean, they're not realistic, a lot of them.
Right.
So we cut it down to 90 days. It's 3 months.
That's good. I think 90 days is
90
more
days
than
is,
enough.
you know, we should know if we're going to work together or not. You know, yeah.
Okay. Now, the one thing you didn't mention was you have a virtual assistant.
Oh, the virtual assistant, yes.
Let's
That's right.
talk about the virtual assistant. See, I know some things.
Yeah, okay. So, so I have a young lady that she lives in the Philippines. She'll jump on my computer. She prints all my expires, my FISBOs, my leads, my happy birthdays. She does my birthday cards to all my past clients, my church farm, all my database that I have their birthdays in there and their anniversaries. So she handles all that. And so that way, by the time I start prospecting, all I got to do is just go to the printer, get my expireds, FISBOs, the leads I got to call, and get on the phone.
Okay, let me tell you, virtual assistant. If you've never used a virtual assistant, it's really inexpensive. It's about $8 or $9 an hour, and they do a lot of work for you. They can do a lot of work for you. His virtual assistant, like he said, when he gets in the office at 7 o'clock, she's already pulled up all the expires for sell-by owners, all his information for all his calls he has to make that day. It's already done. He goes to the computer, pulls them out, and it's done. Anybody interested in a virtual assistant? I have 2 really good companies. See me next week. I got a birthday weekend. See me next week. Okay, so let's talk about prospecting. You do mainly phone calling?
Let me say something about the virtual assistant, guys, because that was something that was for me. One of the things I do in that 1 hour is I work on my business, not in the business. There's a big difference between working in the business than versus working on the business. The difference is that when you're working in the business is when you show up, you're prospecting, you're meeting clients, you're working in the business, you're negotiating contracts. That's working in the business. Working on the business is when you actually sit down with a notepad and you figure out, how am I going to work this system? Who's going to do what and how I'm going to train them? And that's working on the business. And I think a lot of us realtors, we don't really spend time working on the business. And that's why we really don't explode or grow or do what we need to do. So the learning curve sometimes is gonna be a while, you know, but if you take some time and you actually learn how to create the videos, you know, for them, which is everything's free, by the way. I mean, we have everything's free on the internet. And you just sign up with Screencast-O-Matic, and you can do free videos up to 15 minutes. and then you create the video yourself, and then you just send it out to a person. Doesn't matter where they're at in the country or another country or wherever they're at. And you send them the video. All they got to do is look at that video, and you give them your password and your information for your website. They go in there, and it's done. But it's going to take some time, on our part to do it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I've mentioned to a few real estate agents that if you don't have a database, get you a virtual assistant. They can put your database together for you. Mm-hmm. I talked to a number of my clients about you need to get an assistant. Understand, you don't need a full-time assistant. If you got an assistant who worked for you just on Monday, or maybe just 2 or 3 hours a day, 2 or 3 days a week, to free your schedule. See, I think too many of us are busy doing busy work. And when you're doing busy paperwork, it's hard to do the prospecting needed to take your business to the next level. And I always tell people for a few dollars, honestly, you could pay someone $10 or $12 an hour. At the end of a day, at the end of a month, if they work 30 hours for you, that's $300 to $400. And you freed up 30 additional hours for $350? Now just imagine if you did like Ramon and spent those 30 hours prospecting. See, how many of us have ever sat on the phone with B of A or Wells or anybody on a short sale for 2 or 3 hours? Really? Is that really what we like to do? But that's what a lot of us do. So let's go back to prospecting. Any door knocking?
No door knocking. But this year I'm changing it up. So I'll be doing 5 hours in the morning. So I'm going to start at 7:45, finish at 12:45. That's 5 hours. Grab lunch. Then I'm going to go hit the door. Then I'm going to go door knock for 2 hours. So I'm changing it up this year.
And that's the 7 hours. He
That'll
said
be
he
7
wanted
hours.
to do 100 transactions.
Right.
So now, what about investing in postcards, flyers, door hangers, any of that stuff?
No, I don't do any of that.
You plan on doing it?
Just for my database, my past clients and my centers of influence. I put them on a newsletter. They get a newsletter every month. They get a market report every month on the internet, via internet. But I haven't done the. I send them everybody gets everybody that's my past client, which I have my database is probably about 800 people in there.
Nice number.
They have they all get birthday cards. The kids get birthday cards. I call them. I text them on the day of their birthday. Okay. Even though I send them the birthday card a week before, and I don't do it. The virtual assistant does that. So I don't do a lot of.
Okay.
My marketing though is I do spend money on internet leads.
Okay.
So I think I told you that before.
Right.
Yeah.
So internet leads, meaning you're buying leads for expireds, for sell-by owners, anywhere you can get phone numbers.
Besides those, I have a Tiger Lead Solution, which I pay them. It's I think $1,500 a month. And I get probably about 40 to 60 really good, not really good leads. Some of them are, last year, 39% of my business was internet leads.
Wow.
So even though I might have spent $25,000 last year on internet leads, I made $150,000. So the return is way off the roof. But you have to have a system to follow up.
Wow. Okay, so that leads me to my next question, previewing. So when I talk about previewing, if you don't door knock, so you don't farm at all, you don't have a geographic farm.
No.
Now, we talked about that back in December, so you decided not to do it or it just didn't make sense?
Right now, my focus is more, all the expires and FSBOs, and those are faster, they're quicker, their turnaround is real. Yesterday, I called it expired, in the morning, in the afternoon, I was at his house, I signed in the listing contract.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And so today, I set up 3 more listing appointments. They're just expired, for sale by owners.
So what do we know about expires and for sale by owners? They're ready to do something now. An expired house just came off the market, didn't sell, and a for sale by owners trying to sell it themselves. So if you're looking for fast decision makers, that's where you go. Expires and for sale by owners. Okay, so what do you do? Now, we talked the last time about you have a church database.
Right.
How many members, how do you market to your church members?
I'm always, I'm always involved in church with different ministries.
Okay.
Mostly with the children's ministry because I teach the 3rd grade. My wife teaches 1st grade. And then we, like last night I was at Bible study with the men's Bible study. So every time I meet a brother or sister, I put them on there. And I let them know, hey, I'm a realtor. I've been doing it for a long time. So I offer them my services. But I'm not at church for that reason, though, guys. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm there to worship Jesus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, hey, I'm not mad at you. Amen.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so last time we talked about he was at a Coldwell Banker, and he had to reinvent himself because here was a guy who was #1 at Coldwell Banker doing how many deals back then?
A Coldwell Banker?
Uh-huh.
I don't remember a Coldwell Banker. I was working at Coldwell Banker before I left.
Yeah.
But I was #1 there for 7 years.
And how many deals were you averaging per month?
I think, for a year I was doing about 50 deals at the time.
50 deals. And then what happened to you?
The market crashed.
Market crashed in 2007.
2007, and I crashed with it. You know what I'm saying?
He crashed, let me tell you, he crashed in a way that most of us didn't crash. He was buying and rehabbing properties and ended up losing 10 properties. Filed bankruptcy.
Filed bankruptcy, that's right.
Had to start all over.
Start all over. Here's what happened was that, if anybody was around in 2005, 6, 7, 8, when the market crashed. Okay, so you guys know a lot of us, at least where I was at, we were making good money in commissions. So we would buy a property and, there was money to be made, 3 months down the road, it was worth already $30,000. So, I got caught up in that I took off my real estate hat, real estate agent hat, and I put on my investor hat, right? And I'm like, I stopped showing up with my tie. I started showing up with jeans and with flip-flops and, you know what I'm saying? I mean, very unprofessional, And I was like, I got this. We're making money, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, yeah, this is good. 1 month, I made $250,000. So, when you come from the ghetto, welfare, food stamps, I was, trash digging, trying to get little cans, me and my brother. When you come from that background and then you start making all kinds of money, you go and you go get that Escalade. You go and you go get that Mercedes. You go and you go vacations and you blow it all, you know what I'm saying? And the next thing, you're thinking that it's always going to be like that, but it wasn't. I got a reality check, you know what I'm saying? So,
and a reality check, not a check. Go to the bank.
No, exactly.
It wasn't that kind of reality check. It was a check like your bank account is overdrawn. So
I got some of that humble pie, and so the market did crash. I crashed with it. I lost I had quite a bit of. I had to liquidate everything, including my home. I had spent like $120,000 remodeling my house. I sold my other property to do that to my house, and all that. It was very, very painful, to have to walk through that valley 9 months without a paycheck. When you're used to spending $25,000 a month, and then you go 9 months without it. It's like wow. So, anyways, the market crashed. The company I was working at, Coldwell Banker at the time, they were closing down their doors. But I'm loyal, so I stuck around till almost literally when they were about to close. I mean, there were some days I would come in and there was no lights. So I had to turn on the candles. I mean, figure that out. You're in a real estate office with some candles. Damn,
yeah, that's how bad.
Really going on?
That's how bad the market was in 2000, 2008. We had a lot of brokers, a lot of escrows, a lot of title companies, a lot of lenders who went out of business. This is real right here. Yeah. And Raul, like myself, Ramon, like myself, hit rock bottom. Like I said, remember, I was doing 170, 180 orders, and it dropped to 50. I went, huh? And, I'm like Ramon. I'm spending money and making money, and as fast as it's coming in, and I'm a pretty good saver. But, as fast as it was coming in, I was making it go out. Wow. And then all of a sudden, you're making $25,000, $30,000, $40,000, and now you make nothing. But yet you still got those bills.
That's for sure.
And they keep coming. I realized a long time ago the only day I don't get bills is like on Sunday because they don't deliver. But every other day I'm getting them. So let's talk about your definition of a professional real estate agent, because I talk about, and let's talk about it in terms of agents in your office, because you come from the #1 Century 21 office in the world.
Yeah.
They do more transactions than anybody. How many transactions you guys do a month out of that office, roughly?
I think we were about 200.
200 orders, 200 deals a month.
Yeah, right around there.
They're located in Downing, and they're located in Norwalk and Pico Rivera.
Pico Rivera.
Century 21 All-Stars.
Here, we just found out though that they're another company from Utah, another Century 21. They closed about $3 million in December, so they actually knocked our spot to #2.
They're #2 now.
We just found that out. The broker was.
And I know the broker, and he's not happy.
He's not happy. Joel is not happy. Yeah. So.
No one is happy. That's why Ramon has to do 100 deals. They want to get that crown back. So let's talk about being a professional agent, because I talk about spectator, interested, and committed.
Yeah.
And obviously, you're totally committed because you work from about 6:45. Now, do you still cut off at 7 o'clock?
Yeah, 6:45. Yeah, I 12-hour days.
12-hour days.
Except for Wednesdays, because I go to church.
Yeah.
So I leave at 5
Okay.
or 5.
And then you don't work on Saturday and Sunday.
I do work Saturdays, but that's working on the business. That day, I'm working on, and I coach some people at the office.
Okay.
And that's for free. I help them out. I'm starting a nonprofit, so I'm using that to coach them to help them out.
Okay. Now, question for you.
Yeah.
From a professional real estate standpoint, and coming from the office that you come from, what do you see as the biggest problem that most real estate agents face?
I think the biggest thing is just faith. They don't have faith. They think that they're going to go down because the market's down, and they don't think they're going to accomplish or succeed. And their confidence, and this is what happened with me, with my